Okay, so like imagine this, right? It's like 1,000,000 degrees outside. Your to-do list is like a mile long, and then bam, your friend calls and like they need help moving.
Oh, no.
You want to say no, but you know that guilt thing, it just like pops up and you're like, yeah, sure, no problem.
I've totally been there.
I think we all have.
So today we're going to dive into this whole thing about the power of saying no.
Yes.
And to help us out today, we've got this YouTube video by Shaman Jon Rasmussen and also this blog post that goes with it.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So we really want to understand why saying no can be, not just good for you, but good for the person you're saying no to.
Right, not selfish.
Exactly. So are you ready to kind of unpack this whole no thing?
Absolutely. I think it's something so many people struggle with.
Yeah. It's we feel like we have to say yes all the time.
Right, even when it means we're sacrificing our own well-being.
Totally. And John Rasmussen, right off the bat, he's like, our time and space, they're limited. And I feel like everyone listening can relate to that. Definitely. It's we can't do everything, be everything for everybody.
And if we try, we just end up, exhausted. He uses this analogy about giving pearls to swine.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, sometimes we're giving so much
Mm-hmm.
and it's not appreciated, it's not reciprocated. What do you think? What are some signs that maybe we're in a pearls of swine situation?
That's a good question for everyone listening, too.
Yeah, think about it.
Have you ever felt you're giving and giving, but it's just not coming back?
Totally. And then we end up feeling like,
Yeah, completely drained, depleted.
That's where, saying no comes in.
Mm-hmm.
But it can be hard, right? We don't want to hurt feelings.
Of course. Nobody wants to seem mean or selfish.
Jon Rasmussen has this really cool analogy about fans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that one.
He's imagine two fans, right? But they're spinning at different speeds.
It creates that clash. It's so uncomfortable.
And that's kind of like what happens when we say yes, but we mean no. It creates this inner dissonance.
Yes, you feel it in your relationships, at work, even just in your own mind.
Definitely. Like a conflict.
But then he talks about, when the fans are spinning together.
In sync.
Yeah, and it amplifies their energy. It's resonance, he calls it.
Oh, I like that.
Right, and everything just flows.
Okay, so how do we get to that resonance in our own lives? Is it as simple as just saying no more?
It's a great place to start.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, when we say yes and we really mean no, it's not actually helping anyone.
Yeah, I've done that, and then I end up resenting it.
Exactly. So sometimes no is actually the more honest answer.
More honest and maybe even more respectful.
Exactly. But I totally get it. People worry about, disappointing others.
Right. What if they think I'm selfish?
I hear that a lot. But honestly, sometimes people don't hear the answer to a question they haven't asked.
Wait, what does it even mean?
It means that sometimes the best thing to do is just be there for someone, listen.
Without judgment.
Yeah, exactly. Trust that they have their own wisdom to figure things out.
So it's not always about jumping in and fixing things.
Sometimes it's better to step back.
Wow, that's really interesting. It's instead of enabling them, we're empowering them.
That's a great way to put it.
I like that. So we're not just rescuing them, we're respecting them.
Exactly. It's a whole different way of, being there for people.
Yeah, totally. So we've talked about why it's important to say no, but what about the good stuff? What happens when we actually do it?
Right. It's not just about avoiding the bad stuff. It's about opening up space for the good stuff.
So it's more than just boundaries, right?
Yeah, it's about filling your life with things that actually matter to you.
The things that light you up.
Exactly. Think about what are you passionate about? What are your goals?
Yeah, what have you been putting off because you're so busy saying yes to everything else?
Mm-hmm. It's so easy to lose sight of those things.
It really is. In the video, Jon Rasmussen talks about, he has this example about his personal space.
Oh, yeah. He's very protective of it.
Yeah, he's really intentional about who he lets in, right?
Because he knows how much it affects him.
And he calls that his sacred space.
And that can be, physical space or even just mental, emotional.
So it's about figuring out what your boundaries are and then actually sticking to them.
It's creating a sanctuary for yourself, right?
I like that.
And it might look different for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people, it might be a room where they meditate.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe just taking a walk in nature or even just journaling for a few minutes.
Whatever helps you recharge.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes protecting that space means saying no.
But how do we actually, do that? How do you say no and not sound like a jerk?
It's definitely a skill.
Like anything, right?
Yeah, you got to practice. But I think it helps to have a few, like, go-to phrases ready.
So you don't have to think about it in the moment.
Right. Like, you could say, I really appreciate you thinking of me, but I can't commit to that right now.
Oh, that's good.
Or I'm already overcommitted, so I'm going to have to pass. But thanks for asking.
Those are good. Like they're polite, but also firm.
Yeah. And you don't always have to give a reason either.
You don't.
Nope, it's okay to just set a boundary without explaining.
Okay, so what if someone keeps pushing? Like what if they try to make you feel bad?
Just, repeat your no. Just be firm.
Okay.
You could say something like, I get that you're disappointed, but I've made up my mind.
Just keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a debate.
And this isn't just about like, saying no to events or stuff like that, right?
Right. This applies to, like, your mental and emotional space, too.
Oh, that's a good point. Like what we let into our minds.
Exactly. The thoughts, the feelings, even, like, the energy of other people.
So it's like creating this filter.
Yeah, and that takes effort. Being intentional about what you're reading, watching, who you're spending time with.
It's easy to get caught up in other people's stuff, trying to fix their problems.
And it can be draining.
Yeah, you can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Exactly. You have to fill your own cup first.
I love that analogy. We need to take care of ourselves first.
And that's not selfish.
Not at all. It's like, how can you help others if you're running on empty?
It's like the oxygen mask on a plane.
Right. You got to put yours on first.
Exactly. And when you do that, it creates this ripple effect. When you're feeling good, you radiate that energy.
It's like that resonance thing again.
Right? When you're in alignment with yourself, you attract people and experiences that are on the same wavelength.
And everything just kind of flows.
Yeah, it's like you're riding this wave of positive energy.
That's cool. So how do we get more of that resonance? Is it just about saying no? So there's more to it than just saying no.
Yeah, it's about, like, being more aware of your choices, right? It's not just what you're saying no to, but what you're saying yes to.
Oh, okay.
Like, who are you spending your time with? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Is it stuff that, lights you up? Or is it just kind of blah?
Right. So it's about creating a life that you're actually excited about.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
taking charge, making it happen.
It's like that saying, right? No is a complete sentence.
Yeah. And it's a way of saying yes to yourself.
I like that. So
Yeah.
it sounds like this whole saying no thing, it's not about like being mean or anything.
Not at all.
It's more about like, taking care of yourself so you can show up better for the things that matter.
Exactly. And sometimes, saying no can actually be a good thing for the other person too.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, maybe someone else can help them better or something.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
It frees you up to focus on what you're good at, and it gives them the chance to find someone who's a better fit.
So everybody wins.
Exactly. So as we wrap up this deep dive, think about this. What's one thing you're going to say no to this week?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and what will you say yes to instead?
We want to know. Share with us, like on social media or whatever.
Yeah, let's keep this conversation going.
All right, until next time, keep diving deep. And remember, your time and energy are precious. Choose wisely.